Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, I'm gonna do a video for people who are new to the twin flame journey. And so this isn't necessarily for those who have been around my channel for a while. This is for the new viewers that might tune in. And so yeah, let's do an alignment reading. This is going to be kind of interesting for those who watch this who have been around a while with my stuff, because you're going to get a big peek into how far you've come, is what I'm just going to say. And it is not a competition, but we all know this journey is intense. It is not what it seems at first, but let's do this for those who are newly on the twin flame journey. So thank you, Divine Creator. What can we see for my viewers that are newly on the twin flame journey? What are my lovely viewers meant to be focusing on at this time regarding their connection, their specific person, their heart space, how they are dealing with their emotions about their specific person? What can we see for my viewers' perspective, attitude, interpretation of what they're seeing, and what advice can we get about that? And what can they expect to see on their journey going forward in the near future regarding all of these things? I've been shuffling and I keep seeing the 1111 Four of Wands Union card for everybody that's going to be resonating with this reading. If you're new here, I typically do a standard sort of set of questions. What is my person thinking about the connection, thinking about me, feeling on the heart space about the connection and me? What do they want to manifest? What actions are they taking? What is the biggest challenge? What is the solution to that? And what can we see in the near future? So I'm going to do that from the viewer's perspective, though, to just give you a little bit of an edge up on what you're meant to be looking at. This deck is messages, and I'm looking straight at I'm a very jealous person. So jealousy is one of the main energies that gets tempered out of twin flame path of mastery followers as we come into the discernment of frequencies that allow for alignment with an ideal match rather than somebody that's not well suited or not there yet. And so on this journey there are karmic partners and all kinds of different names that you'll come across, but this is it's kind of a catch-all reading for those who think they're on a twin flame journey, what they need to focus on. But let's get a message from your person. First off, if you're resonating with this video, what is your person wanting to say that they haven't said directly at this time? Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. You make me want to do bad things, maybe. So, this is impulsivity. There is some hot and heavy chemistry between the two. It's magnetically drawn, but there's this gray area. It's like, why is there this great big huge obstacle or this difference? Or my conscience is like, I don't know, I'm sure that this person is better than any person for me that I've ever met, but why do I want to wait on it? Yeah, it's opening up a whole new can of worms. So your person is heavily attracted, but they're also feeling mixed signals. And that is because they are beginning to open this can of worms that is the twin flame journey. Okay, let's get into it for my beautiful viewers here. So thank you, Divine Creator. What can my viewer see that is best to focus on regarding their person, this connection, all the things? Going to shuffle 5 decks here, so bear with me. I did a pre-shuffle, but I'm going to shuffle them again so we get all of your energy in. So if you're brand new here and you want to have regular sort of more new on the journey videos, I'm going to tag those in a different way than my typical videos. I haven't quite decided yet. Also, I just opened up sessions for March. If you are having trouble navigating the journey and you're not feeling all too joyful about what you're experiencing, I would love to work with you and get you on track with that. But hang around and see how you like this reading and see if that resonates. Okay, so for my viewer, about this connection, what can we see? All right, a tower. So tower energy coming in, making it feel like your world is never going to be the same. This is also giving me the feeling that now you've met this person, you're glad things haven't worked out with others. This is a grieving card. So it's almost like, okay, now I get why I've been single for so long, or why my marriage didn't work, or why I had to move countries, things like that. It's like major events that haven't played out the way that you thought. You're really starting to say, okay, maybe that was a good thing. And this connection is almost proof. It's like answer to prayer. It's like so out there, not crazy, but I want to say it feels crazy because it's so radical and instantaneous. So what can we see for the angle my viewer needs to see about this? So Queen of Swords. This is interesting because I'm getting for a bunch of those watching this that there is a karmic partner involved. You might be a Queen of Swords in another relationship or a marriage, or your person may have another feminine energy connected with them. But this is an energy in the inverse where you're beginning to look at the difference between divine feminine energy and karmic feminine energy, and to really see what unconditional love is versus conditional love. So the Queen of Swords in the reverse or inverse like this is my karmic feminine mode of operations. And so this journey is about to throw you into a deep dive into letting go of control paradigms, letting go of trying to overcompensate, aka chasing. You're not going to find results. If this is truly a soul level connection, you're not going to find a green light for the connection if you're in Queen of Swords in the inverse energy. So this is like accountability for self, but you are on the precipice of this game changer, new answer to prayer kind of relationship coming in. What is the advice for you? High Priestess. So High Priestess is flanked by the pillars of mercy and humility. That's the name of the game on this journey. Compassion is the combination of that mercy and humility. So that means coming out of judgment, self-judgment, self-condemnation, condemnation of others, making others blaming others, being victimized. This journey is going to strip you bare of all of that stuff, and you're going to be there just knowing your truth and manifesting your reality based on this truth. What is the sign? Okay, so you're gonna High Priestess in the inverse. So what you're going to experience in the near future is these moments where you're not in mercy, you're not in humility, you're not in compassion of self and other, but you're seeing that that's a potential here. And so that's how you know that you are en route to manifest what you desire, is because you're beginning to observe consciously when you're not in that energy. And how cause and effect and manifestation works when it comes to an authentic relationship. When we're in karmic relationships, we can pull all kinds of manipulation strings, and that actually brings that karmic relationship in. When you're in a soul level, unconditionally loving connection, those kinds of behaviors do the opposite and repel. What can we see about the person you're watching for? Oh, the High Priestess for the third time. So even though things in the physical. The sun is like the full enlightenment for all to see, even though it's in the inverse here and maybe it doesn't look that way on the surface. You have this knowing, the high priestess. So you may not see and be able to observe all of your actions, reactions in that fully settled Zen state yet, but you do know that this person, despite what it looks like on the surface, is like no other connection you've ever had. What do the feminines that are watching this need to know about that? Let go of control issues. So that's your first indicator that this connection is a major primary teacher for you. An experience that you're about to go through is that you have this knowing that you've never seen anything like this before, even against all odds. And so it is about systematically dropping these control paradigms, dropping into your heart, trusting your heart, communicating from your heart, dropping in deeper, making sure that's what you mean and believe, that it's high frequency, not coming from, I just saw 1111, beautiful sign, not coming from a controlling place, not trying to get a result, not having strategies that are analytical, but dropping into the heart, being sure. What can we see with advice? Abandonment triggers. So this is going to be you coming up against those obstacles that make you feel like all hope is lost. This is like a rock bottom energy, and it really puts us between a rock and a hard place when we can't just easily get these relationships to come in, like a karmic relationship where we can pout and have a temper tantrum and get a pity party. All of that immature, underdeveloped behavior does not fly here. And so, you know, nobody's going to come in and coddle you or do it for you, or even, you know, show up when you're going through rites of passage or major life lessons. Your twin flame may ghost. Your twin flame may not be anywhere around. They might be mirroring that and going through their own stuff. Because you are of such a quantum entangled similar resonance, when you're going through it, you likely won't have anyone but the divine to go through it with you. When you're on this twin flame journey, when you come through it, that's when your counterpart typically shows up. When you've balanced out, when you've come out of this dark night of the soul, this spiritual awakening, the existential crisis, when you've dropped all control paradigms, when you come back into love, when you've aligned. So your advice is to be productive in these dark nights of the soul, in this rock bottom, hopeless, helpless energy, and really start making these quantum leaps, saying, okay, this too shall pass. This is one end of the spectrum that a human can experience in this situation, but show me, divine creator, source, what would the healed or the overcoming, resilient, triumphant energy observe with this same event? How could this be love unfolding rather than the proof that I'm crazy or that the love isn't here? So that's a really important remembrance to have, is when you're feeling the cringe, when you're in the fetal position crying and your whole world is falling apart, you're experiencing a spectrum so that you can also reach the heights. You're a virtuoso in love. And this kind of unlearning everything that you thought you knew, coming back into self, into connection with source. Stay with it. You're cracking open, right? You're finally throwing down all of the imbalanced ways. And this is where you're going to start seeing love for what it really is. And so allow all of your fears and concerns and loneliness and the strangeness of this to crack you open and say, okay, isn't that interesting that I'm experiencing these things, or that I can't relate to anybody about this stuff? and stay with it. Become curious. Really start asking the right questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? What will my beautiful viewers see in the near future that will help confirm these messages for their new twin flame journey? Temperance. So you're going to start seeing where maybe you are falling short, where you're not quite there yet, where your emotional balance is still rocked. And these triggers, moments on the journey, you're going to start one by one balancing yourself out. You're going to see opportunities to manage your emotions, to bring yourself out of that suffering. The root of all suffering is attachment. And so if you're in suffering, it's not a complete truth. You are misguided, you're slightly off the mark. It is up to you. Your number one relationship is bringing yourself back into peace, back into balance. Someone outside of yourself is not there to bring you back into balance. When you come back into balance, the things that are actually meant for you will be there. If not now, then eventually when you are in that consistent way of life where you are truly good on your own, this journey will show you all the places that you're not actually as good on your own as you thought you were, and it will bring you through. What can we see for my beautiful viewers on their heart space for the person they are watching this? Nothing but love in the 3D. So this person can do no wrong, literally. They look ideal to you in every way. Doesn't mean anyone else sees it or agrees with you, but you know that this is so fresh, so new, so complete. This is a little bit of a idealistic energy. Maybe you've got them on a pedestal a little bit, and that's okay. The divine light is shining on this person. What do my viewers need to see about their energy? The strength. So yeah, this is interesting because this is teaching you spiritual valor. This is teaching you to overcome the devil energies that say someone as magnificent as this is out of your league or unattainable. This is you overcoming all of the fears, the obstacles, and staying the course, and really seeing how magnificent you are, that you don't have to take limitations for an answer. The Strength card is about you aligning with unconditional eternal love and knowing that any obstacle that the material realm, this short lifetime, puts on love is just simply not the greatest truth. And so that's going to be backing you and your ability to drop resistance to the fact that you have connected and know of and feel such an affinity for this particular person. But don't put them on a pedestal. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So always remember, when you're looking at this person, that appreciation you have is actually you communing with source energy, with your own higher self, and your relationship to that growth and beauty being in the eye of the beholder is why that person is in your life. Not the person per se, but they are a collection of archetypes. They are a collection of symbols, of things you treasure and, hold in high regard. And it's really a big deal when a person that contains all of those things all in one place appears in your life. It's difficult not to idolize them or have them on that unattainable pedestal. But remember, you are the one that esteems all of those things. And you're the one that was ready to meet somebody that contained all of those things, to bring you up through the challenges of seeing yourself as worthy for a love like that. Okay, what can we see for advice for the feminines? Keep an open mind. Stay open to what will happen. On this journey, if you stay in an open, curious, conscious energy, you can prolong the flow. possibly indefinitely. You know, there is so much growth in the twin flame community, in the conscious love community over the last number of years. It's kind of exponentially been growing. There's a lot more clarity coming in about what these journeys are, how they roll out, what they offer. And really, you can speed up your union and your connections if you really come into that beautiful peace inside of you where you're taking care of yourself as number one, and you're establishing your core, your integrity, your life work, your alignment, and you are therefore understanding that it's got to work with you in a harmonious way if it's truly for you. Sometimes the twin flame journey doesn't result in union, and that will be when you ultimately decide that that person isn't quite a romantic fit. That does not mean it's not your twin, or that you haven't been on a twin flame journey. If that ever happens, stay open, because when you graduate your twin flame journey, that is when you will be ready for true love, with or without that person. And also when you will have 1000% peace about coming into connection romantically with that person or letting that person go. But if you're truly on a twin flame journey, you will not be abandoned or rejected ultimately by that counterpart. You will have peace if they are not going to be in a romantic scenario with you. Most of the peace that we get on this journey is not found by hashing it out with the other person or working it out that way. That's a very karmic way. This journey is a spiritual journey where we connect with Source to work out the things within us, and therefore our reality shifts and changes based on how we make progress internally. What will my viewers see in the near future? Your psychic giftings are going to up level. So pay attention to prophetic dreams, telepathic messages, bodily sensations in yourself, and starting to sense your person. Really becoming more aware of what you're placing yourself in as far as friendships and work scenarios. Your whole life, you know, romantic relationships, your whole life is about to take an overhaul of discernment in every direction. It all gets sort of seen at once and processed, and you navigate it, and it's a holistic process. So when you clear your karma, when you bring your union in with your perfect match, whether it's your twin flame or your aligned one is somebody different than your twin flame one day, could go either way, your whole life changes. Every aspect typically will go from a material realm, materialistic view of reality to a anchored in the energetics of reality, that layer of reality. And so as you awaken on your twin flame journey, your intuitive gifts, your discernment ramps up, and you start processing your reality through that high priestess energy: mercy, humility, compassion. It's not about an eye for an eye or competition, lack, scarcity. Those energies are released on this journey as you come into safety, wholeness, worthiness, unconditional love. You come back into how we are meant to be living in a peaceful state. What can we see on the heart space for this person? Yeah, so you're beginning to see that there is more of an energetic connection than a 3D material realm connection. You're feeling it. This is my telepathic card. So for many, you could be starting to get physical sensations. You might be feeling like they're in the room with you. You might hear their voice. You might be seeing number syncs. These are the signs and synchronicities that don't necessarily show themselves to your counterpart. This is just for you. With this card internally like this in the inverted, it's a deep dive into the nature of reality. You might start reading omens, you might dabble in tarot, your healing gifts might start coming to the forefront. Many people on the twin flame journey they already know themselves to have certain psychic giftings or healing abilities, those kinds of things, but maybe you've never really dove into it as a way of life. This journey is going to pull you into being that super version of yourself. This is the investment in self. So it's really about honoring you're not crazy. These things are part of all of our spiritual mastery. The twin flame path of mastery isn't the only path of mastery, but it is a path of mastery that talks about the sexual and the spiritual spectrum of the sacral chakra. So there's a lot of information that's going to be coming through this reading that you may or may not have heard before. And take some notes, start doing some research, be discerning. Tell yourself, I'm going to feel into what actually feels energizing when I come across it or experience a new concept on this journey, and I'm going to steer away from the things that make me feel constricted or fearful or shut down. That's your guidance system saying, don't go that way. And when it feels enlivening and piques your interest, go in those directions. Follow those rabbit holes. Become this curious, lifelong learner. Invest in yourself. Investigate these things. You are not crazy. And the heart space, the things you're feeling for this person are going to be a very true measure for your discernment, because you'll just be like, it has to be this. It can't be another way. Even if other people might think you're crazy, you don't have to talk to anybody about it, but you also don't have to feel like you're having a mental breakdown if you are sensing things that feel so real to you, yet you have no proof. Love is the only force strong enough to overpower your skeptical, analytical mind in these ways. So welcome to the club. What do my viewers need to know about their energy? Yes, you've wished for true love. The Two of Cups is that monogamous, one-on-one, wholehearted love. So welcome to the club. You are really going to learn what this true love is, what actual connection is. You're done with games. Your soul has had a soul cry, and this is the answer to prayer. If you can get out of your own way and refrain from getting ahead of yourself and causing yourself to suffer by making more to do about things that are starting to be revealed. So many messages are coming, but essentially you've got to let go of your traumas. You've got to let go of your peak experiences. You've got to neutralize and balance that out so that come what may, you've found a new stability and ability to surf no matter what manifests in your reality. Once you kind of get your spiritual legs under you that way, you can start manifesting the reality that you really want. But right now you're going to have to let go of the scarcity of the traumas and the peak experiences and really just be present. Presence is the number one way that you can work with each thing that comes up in stride and flow without, demonizing it or exalting it. You have to just go with the flow and adapt. Oh, isn't that interesting? Don't go into extremes. Allow it to pass, allow it to show you what it's there for, but don't attach to it. What is the advice? Yeah, victory. So you are also on a journey of coming into your gifting so you can bring those to others in the world. This is where you're going to have some recognition as you discern your spiritual giftings, your insight, your confidence, your empowerment. As you up-level through your karma, your life lessons, you overcome circumstances and limitations that you've been dealing with, and you find a way to freedom and flow in your life. You're going to be showing others how to do that. People are going to take notice. They're going to be watching you. And so this can be ego stroking and fame and fortune, but it's only the 6 out of 10 in the wand suit. And so if that goes to your head, it will be a hard knocks lesson, and you might, lose out if you don't stay humble going forward. But this journey has a way of humbling us, because just when we think we are the one that's gonna crack the code and buck the system and get there, we have something that happens, especially on the early stages, that's set us back 10 steps. And we could lament, we could get into disintegration, but just isn't that interesting? Just take it in stride. What can my viewers see coming up about this? Okay, you're going to start learning how to analytically meditate. This is a card of meditation. It is actually the minor arcana for the High Priestess of the knowing, being able to instantaneously, when something happens, drop into the knowing. But this is you beginning to learn how to go to that technique when life throws you things, ecstatic things and unsavory things. This is going to be your cue. If something confuses you, ask for understanding. If you don't know how to ask your higher guidance for understanding, this is a card that's saying you need to spend 5 minutes a day, or stop for a moment when something unusual happens or something confusing happens, and start to ask yourself the right questions. What do I need to know about what just happened? And then quiet yourself and allow whatever needs to come up in that space to arise, to become apparent. Cultivate that. Allow yourself the spaciousness, but also allow your person the spaciousness, because it takes two on this journey. And, you might be too extra trying to get a response, or, reaching out to them, chasing, and they're fading further and further into the background. A lot happens on this journey, and your person may need space to process. Typically, the people that watch the readings are divine feminines. The divine masculines tend to be in their own zone and a lot more quiet or introspective than reaching out to communities like this. And so if they are silent or MIA, let them have that. Remember, they're going through a journey that is just like yours. They're having the emotions. They're just not talking about it. They are navigating things in different ways, coping in different ways. And they have a sovereign right to process the way they're processing. But remember, you're not the only one. If you're feeling these intensities, this journey will show you that tells you more about how the other person is also experiencing it than asking them directly. You can drop in and feel them. That's another thing. You can tune in and you can say, where's my person at regarding this? And you will sense in your own guidance system a truth. That's another deepening of your psychic gifts coming in here. What is my viewer meant to be manifesting right now? Okay, so we got codependency and life partnership, living situations. This can be a wifey card, a marriage card, something about needing to become single. So if you are in a relationship with somebody that is not this twin flame or potential twin flame, because not everybody that finds the name twin flame is actually in a twin flame journey. There are narcissist empath templates. There are attachment style relationships that are in disasters. There's abusive relationships. Twin flame journey is not a label for boyfriend, girlfriend, and it is not synonymous with narcissist empath. Those are counterfeit replicas, we could say. Those patterns mimic the twin flame journey. They hit our hero instinct. They are based in rapid cycling, not very kind karmic energies. A twin flame journey typically finds people when there's a greater understanding. There isn't harm from each counterpart to the other. It's more unconditional love. It's different for everyone, but if you're being abused or treated poorly, please do not go into over romanticizing that. Get yourself out of it. You can love at a distance. That is unconditional love. Unconditional love is not being a doormat and putting up with crappy behavior. It's actually being self-respecting and loving yourself enough not to continue in connections that are unhealthy and not good for you. But if you are on a conscious higher love journey, this might be showing you that maybe if you're in a lower vibrational existing connection, that it is really time to get out of it and balance your life out and not have a dynamic where you are codependent and playing small and not reaching your potential in life. So yeah, I'm getting that nudge. If you're seeing this and you want to work with me for a session, I can very much help you sort through these kinds of things and to understand what kind of relationship you're in based on the fruits that are produced or not, whether it's bringing positive effect into your life or if it's more trouble than it's worth. I can help you decide what those lessons might be for you. But this is really taking a good look at what you are currently involved in and asking, is it codependent? Is there anything I can do to balance that out? Can I start nurturing myself, loving myself enough to know I don't have to grin and bear it or suffer? That you can free yourself from things that are less than, because many times on this twin flame journey, we're shown a love that far exceeds what we thought was possible. And then we have to go back to our life and balance a lot of things out. What can we see for my viewer? The world. Yeah, certain things do need to come to an end. The world in the inverted like this means big cycles, 7, 8, 9, 10-year cycles need to close out. So existing relationships, ways of showing up in relationship, all of that is going to be seen for what it is. And then you're going to do your due diligence to bring closure to those things, to step out of contracts and circumstances and duties that do not align with your core values, with who you're becoming, with the lifestyle and the blessing in the world that you want to be and connect with. And so you're going to have to walk through the ascension portal. You're going to have to put one foot in front of the other and clean up your life through radical accountability. But this journey, you will not sleep easy at night if you resist what you will see on this journey. You will be in conflict internally if you fight it. And so the sooner you can really, get real with yourself. This is a journey about becoming present, practical, grounded, realistic, of earthly good. Highly spiritual people are not woo-woo and speaking all kinds of different abstract paradigms. They are realists. They are so present. They know how to affect miracles, because they see what true solutions are, what life-affirming solutions are. It's like spiritual common sense comes to the foreground and it's magical. What can we see for advice for the viewers here? Okay, things coming back around. This is, you've been offered this cup of love and you might be sitting here going, my life is too crazy. It's too complicated. This is really a beautiful love, but there are things about it that are not going to be easy. That's okay. You won't run out of time. If you've actually stumbled on a twin flame journey, that means you are becoming eternal. That means you have an eternity to figure this out. So, relax, take a deep breath and ask your higher guidance, what would I need to do first? It doesn't have to be yours today. And many times on this journey, you will think you're already there, and then another layer will be revealed to you. So don't worry about it. If the shoes feel too big, that's why we have a journey. One day you will wish that you know what you know then, right now. But that's okay. You have to learn it somehow. And again, welcome to the club. What can we see for near future? Yeah, you're going to want to spend more time in introspection. There's the shadow loyalty. What is for you will never leave your side. The serpent here is about alignment, and this is your destined path. So you have to bring yourself into alignment. That means your yes being your yes and your no being your no. How do you know if your yes is your yes and your no is your no? Discernment. Does it feel balanced, settled, stable, alive? Or does it feel hesitant, constricting, anxious, confused? This is a journey of bringing you into the ability to tell which it is and to empower yourself to go towards the things that sit well with your soul and to walk away from the things that don't. That is alignment. What are the actions that my viewers can see? Okay, wish to balance out and continue looking at where only you know you're in balance or not internally. This is my card of wishing. This is the card of imbalance, temperance in the inverse. So only you know where you have an instability inside of you or where your emotions are in suffering. You can trace those roots. You can see the triggers. You can look at the history that you have experienced that has contributed to this, the origins, the root. And so this is you as a special ops seek and rescue for your own inner stability. This is your task. What does my viewer need to see about their energy? The moon. Okay, so you're opening up this subconscious driver's can of worms, and you're going to start doing a deep dive into a multi-dimensional look at reality. You may start learning about past lives. You may start learning about generational trauma. You may start learning about other star systems. You might start learning about healing modalities or dream interpretation. The moon is this meta reality that all have these factors. This can be about psychological factors or the way you process things, what you've experienced as a child, the predictive programming of our societies. These are the things we make as assumptions that we sort of learned in childhood before we could critical think for ourselves. And so this is important. You're going to be going through a whole lot of debriefing and unlearning about the way that you thought reality was compared to what it actually is when you're no longer limited. What can we see for advice? Keep going. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. What can we see for shows of this? Okay, you're going to sense things in the near future that as you do this balancing, you'll start getting glimmers of how things can move forward or how things could be possible if certain things actually found flow. You'll be seeing that anything is possible. You just do have to put in the work to balance it out and to conduct yourself with accountability. You have to invest in yourself in order to see the routes for progress. Don't be discouraged if you might have to make major life changes. I would be very surprised if you wouldn't have to make major life changes once your eyes are opened. A lot of times we become complacent, kind of hypnotized by, bombarded by what we think this reality is. When we wake up to the truth of what this reality actually is and how unlimited and how majestic and how great we are at manifesting, everything you look at will begin to change. You'll start to see loopholes and ways forward that will exceed your expectations for the abundance and the joy and the happiness that you can actually achieve in this lifetime if you do it your way and you learn to trust yourself and you learn to come into that first person permission to do the things that make your heart sing. What is the biggest challenge for my viewers? Taking a leap of faith, fearing like risking losing it all. So you're never meant to do something prematurely on this journey. If you don't have peace about it, stick with it and ask your higher guidance the right questions. This is not about putting yourself at risk. It's not about making a destructive wake in your path by being, rebellious and turning on a dime and just like smashing your life apart. This is about being sincere. It's about knowing why you're doing the choices that you're making and all of that. And so if you don't feel peace, if you don't have clarity, meditate, look at it. It's premature to act. Be sure. This is a journey of being sure. That high priestess, be still and know. What does my viewer need to see? Page of Swords, be curious. Watch. I heard reputable tarot readers. Not everybody is high frequency. So if you're just getting into the twin flame journey and you're out on YouTube for the first time, be discerning. If somebody's talking about pettiness and, you know, resentment, animosity about the DMs or DFs, click off. If a tarot reading feels bad to you, if it makes you feel bad about yourself, if it triggers you, it's not your reading. That's your guidance system saying, don't make it fit, don't force yourself to resonate, and don't take that energy on. There are readers out there that are not of love and light, and that's part of the duality of this reality that we find ourselves in. So you have to be discerning. If it sits well with you, if it aligns, then, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I want to say here, as you are figuring out what your path is through the dark night here, even in the Holy Bible, it says the angels can't even lie. So no matter what reader tells you, anything, run it through your guidance system for yourself. This is a journey of mastery, which means you're going to be in mastery when you graduate this twin flame journey. Nobody can tell you what that is for you. And so keep this beginner's eyes. Question everything by running it through your heart. Does it feel true, or is it throwing you into suffering? Let that be your deepest guide. That will never lead you astray. What is the advice? Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. Stay open, but don't be gullible, and don't get on every bandwagon. Chillax. Let it happen over time. This journey might take a lot longer than you think it will because you're so amped up on the newness of it. It's a lifelong thing. Let it be. Yeah, so what you're going to notice is where you are people pleasing. This is the codependency card again, where possibly if you're in another romantic relationship now, you're going to see how you're not fully yourself in it, and you're going to start wanting to prioritize giving yourself permission to be more honoring of your truth, saying what you mean with less fear. Just, you know, pushing your edge, continuing to grow, not settling, not, you know, lulling yourself into a playing small version of self. This is where you're going to tap into bravery and creativity and innovation and freedom. But it's your cutting edge bit by bit, one instance at a time, one experience at a time. It's the revelation, it's the reveal. So this challenge is, you are a work in progress. This journey is a work in progress. And it affects every layer of your life with all of your relationships. Your whole constellation of circumstances is transformed. And so it's not just as simple as, I want it and I want it now. There's a ripple effect that brings your whole reality into a new heightened or many level ups as you go through this process. What is the solution to this challenge of wanting to take a drastic leap of faith but not being able to? Keep your eye on victory, keep your eye on the prize, and stay with it. This is also a card of maybe don't just go shouting it from the rooftop. Be self-contained. A trauma response that I've noticed is where we feel compelled to overshare. And so this is also saying don't overshare. In time, you don't have to get other people's approval or, you know, acknowledgement that you're not crazy. You don't have to use people who aren't at your developmental stage as sounding boards, because they may just keep denying that they think what you're experiencing is real. Let it just be a slow burn within you. Keep your eye on it all, and one day when you've come through this, it will be for all to see, but you don't need their approval as you become this leader, as you become self-directed, as you become masterful. If you were born into a world where you don't belong, you were born in to change it. And this is your flowering up through that change. You're going to be spotting patterns that have been self-destructive or non-productive. You're going to be changing those. That goes hand in hand with your healing. As you work those two aspects of your own life, you'll find solutions. And those solutions are your niche. That's what humanity needs from you. And so your life purpose stems from exactly the ways that you spot karmic patterns and what those karmic patterns are, how that contributes to your healing, how your healing contributes to spotting those patterns, and what you do about it. Those strategies and solutions that are authentic will be needed and valuable out into the world, and your abundance will become associated with that, and it will bring you through this public acknowledgement of earthly good. Others will appreciate and applaud you for helping them, for being there for them as you come up into the light. I've heard it said that 100,000 others are affected by one person moving up into the light. And so you are so much more important to this planet than you could ever imagine. But at this stage, it's about going through that fire, learning firsthand, connecting to source, one foot in front of the other. And it's beautiful how things are revealed time after time on the journey that are far different than you can imagine. But it's about you being the unique person you are and staying the course with your process. Wow, the Judgment card for the second time. You don't know what you don't know. So it's about humility. Every time you have anything that's suffering or feels like an obstacle or a deal breaker, let that be your cue to go higher and say, show me how else I could look at this. Show me how this is an awareness coming up to clear. Show me how this does not limit me, how this is the way towards what I have been asking for. Because those gatekeeper energies or trail markers, they come up to show you're on the right track. If you're conscious of those things, it means they are relevant and that you can move beyond them. You're just climbing the mountain. And when that signpost is there, it's not so that you stop and that's all you ever look at for the rest of your life. No, it's so you can see that's where we're at. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. What would we need to do to keep going beyond that level of awareness or that perceived limitation? Those are the questions we need to ask. How else, or how would somebody else address this that didn't have my same conditioning or my same trigger with that thing? How would somebody else approach the same perceived limitation that wasn't bound by that code of conduct that says this is an absolute gospel? So yeah, you don't know what you don't know, but this is the process of blowing through those perceptions into freedom. What can we see for advice? Yes, overcoming that devil. So you don't know what you don't know, but as you do learn it, these devil energies are slayed. You're slaying these devils. What will you see in the near future? Okay, so you're going to learn how to self-soothe. This is the wifey card, the Queen of Pentacles, this living situation. So you're going to have to overcome obstacles that things are too hard, too expensive, going to take too long, all that stuff. And you're going to have to buckle down and do what you must do, because that is the only time you're going to bring movement to your journey. If you're not free and clear to pursue that which you are sensing and desiring, you will never put yourself into alignment to receive it. And so on this journey, if you've woken up to the convenient truth that you are in store for the love of a lifetime, you have to say yes to it by making every change that you are guided to make in the name of higher love. It will not necessarily be what you think it is. And each time you make those changes, it opens a whole new level of portals, possibilities, and options. But you, through your free will, have to do the journey. It doesn't get done for you. And once you see it, you're not going to be satisfied if you don't do it. It's just a matter of time. What can we see for the direction in the near future? Yeah, you're really going to start seeing how much your free will, the way you perceive things and what you choose to do about it, is a subjective thing, that there's no cookie cutter, one size fits all. You're going to start seeing how you can breathe underwater. It's like waking up underwater and assuming that you don't have an oxygen mask or a wetsuit on. And then as you become more observant, articulate, sensitive, you realize, oh, I can breathe underwater. My muscles have been conditioned and I'm flowing through the water just like when I was breathing air. You become proficient in this new realm. And so you're going to start seeing yourself becoming more capable. What is the angle my viewer needs to see? 7 of Wands. Have bravery. You wouldn't be on this journey if you were not made for it, or if it wasn't for you. This is not by chance. It's not an accident. It finds you when you're ready. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And the Star. This is where you go from the fated life to the manifest destiny. This is where you take control of your accountability and you start affecting your reality in a higher way instead of being at the mercy of, or the apple not falling far from the tree. This is where the black sheep of the family gets redemption. This is where you get to make your life what it is without guilt and shame and fear and worry. This is your process of coming into wholeness, so you know how worthy and how wonderful and how great you are and how much deserving you are of love and abundance and blessing in this life. Near future, you're going to start seeing Cupid's love arrows. So for many watching this, you are going to have a lot of beautiful messages going back and forth, or signs and synchronicities with your person. So that's really beautiful. Okay. I have loved this reading. I've been feeling to do this for a couple of weeks now, and I'm so pleased that I have the time to dive into this. What is the last couple cards for my viewers? Clarity. Be your own healer. Honor the passage of time. Accept earthly mortality. Celebrate immortal spirit and connect to the land. So these are ways to find clarity. So yeah, you have the answers within you. Your heart knows the way. Get back into nature. Really accept that this is a temporary place and that eternal love is where it's at. And fertility. Explore your creativity, act on inspiration, thought becomes form, manifest your dreams, and free your imagination. You are unlimited. It's time to really get to know yourself and fall in love with yourself, and know that everything you've brought into your reality is because of you, because of how amazing and magnificent you are. Okay, much love. And again, if you want to get a reading with me, I would absolutely love that. My links are in my description box below. And yeah, I just opened sessions. So come on, let's talk. Okay, many blessings. And subscribe, like, share, all that. Many blessings. Bye for now.